Okay, hear me out. So here's the other possibility. We have to take all because we are historical analysts. We like to dig deep into
Oh.
every detail. Screw the out game. We'll get to that because it's an out game. And if we want to talk about out games, we get Sind on the call for like 10 seconds to get his input, which is an out game.
All right.
Snapfire could be a 2, could be a 3, could be a 4, could be a 5. Tidehunter could be a mid, could be a 3. Chen could be a 3. 33 has proven that is a fierce competitor in the offlane.
The
I,
33-3,
mm.
Chen 3, 33-3.
Yeah, and then you have to have a 3 in the word Chen instead of an E.
Right.
I don't think this is
Potentially,
stabilized
Snapfire, I
so
think
far,
it's
though.
kind of unlikely. I mean, this is just going to be offlane Tide, and then whether the Snapfire is. I mean, the question is whether you want to help the Void with the Snapfire or the Chen, whatever you feel is best. The Alchemists, I'm guessing, it's just going to be.
Probably
I
mid
don't know. It
because they
could just be
keep.
mid, but
Well, they usually keep Shad's hero until last, right? It's kind of
yeah,
the pattern.
I don't know. It's just a little bit awkward to pick this Alchemist if you're picking it blind
That's
into
true.
a mid matchup. So I mean, I'm thinking potentially maybe they have some idea where this Alchemist goes against Tidehunter.
Is there a flex opportunity maybe in like Vikings roster of heroes where they're like, okay, we could switch this to mid?
Potentially they could last pick something that can go kind of both do a little bit of everything. There's definitely some potential for something like that. But I feel like potentially Alchemist might just be kind of okay against Tide. You have the Anchor Smash to remove some, but you can remove it with Oracle's Q, and Alchemist should be able to just farm kind of decently against this Tide. But yeah, we'll just have to see. It kind of depends on the last mid pick, I think, too. If it's a hero that Alchemist does not lane against mid, it's probably just going to be in the safe lane.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of, like things that they pick a lot of that could be flexible in that regard. I think something like a Drow comes to mind, but then I think it's too greedy with an Alk.
Yeah, no, I'm not a huge. I think it's yeah, like you said, it sounds too greedy. I think you want more playmaking options, something that's a little bit faster.
Heroes that come to mind for Toby, some like a Tiny possibly is there actually. I'm surprised. Oh wait, no, they did ban it.
They
It's a
have the
final
beast
ban
already, I
episode.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's probably gonna be a mid hero last.
Oh yeah, so I'm talking for Viking though. Toby
Okay, I
plays
thought you said for
a
Toby though.
yeah. Toby plays a lot of Tiny, but I was wrong. It got banned in the final phase by NiP.
Right, but yeah, I'm just thinking Toby is already the beast master.
Yeah, why am I saying Toby? My mind, boom, boom.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Boom.
You're right. I
All
don't
right.
know what's wrong. My mind has had a moment. Okay, you know what? You know how this is. It was your birthday recently. You get old.
I
You know.
I get it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, tell me about it, man.
I mean, we're gonna be halfway through the
Freaking
for the cast, and I'm just gonna hear, and we're like, "Yo, Pajkatt, you there?" He's like,
Ah, ah,
"Get
ah.
Knight to 2D." It's like, oh, okay.
I'm awake. I'm awake.
And we're ready. What you got for us, Viking? Okay,
Yeah, okay,
yeah.
so it's gonna be December here. I'd considered this. You kind of run into some potential issues where you have a lot of melee heroes up against both Tide and Faceless Void, which can be a little bit spooky. Um, just getting hit by Chronos and Ravages. But I do like kind of the Ember here. He has a nice game against Chen, Snapfire, Tidehunter. Yeah, to some extent the Faceless Void. If you can dodge the Chrono or just you have the Oracle to kind of save yourself against it. You might just be okay to play this game. They do have the last pick now on NiP, and so
Hmm.
probably just whatever hero. I feel like it's gonna be sort of a
Oh,
playmaking-ish kind of hero, or something that ups the tempo a little bit.
it's kind of
It
in
could be a Necro or something like that. It could also be something not the best hero against Oracle though, but just something that lanes kind of well against Ember Spirit and just lets you play the game. I think.
yeah, definitely not Storm. That it looks too rough here. Maybe something like a Void Spirit could work. Okay, they'll go for
Okay.
a Morph. That's
Yeah. It's kind of greedy here, but
yeah, that's what I want to
the thing
use.
is, I'm not entirely sure how the matchup goes nowadays. Back in, like a while ago, back a year ago, a year and a half, I remember this matchup was like you just blew the Ember Spirit out the water, basically, as Morph. And I mean, it was like an 80-20 matchup or something. It might have stabilized a bit more now, and people might have figured out ways to kind of circumvent, suffering that much. But it's definitely a good hero against Ember, and obviously NiP, with this now kind of they're gonna scale very well. So you don't really have to be super concerned about taking it too late. I think the one thing you need to kind of keep in mind is that it still is an Alchemist game, and you do have to stop this Alchemist before he becomes too big a boy too fast, because then you might struggle. Because NiP's heroes, they need some time to come online. And yeah, so it's just gonna be just the Alchemist Oracle against the Tide and Snapfire. It looks like, unless Misha is taking the Chen to the offlane and Era is playing in the safe lane, I could see them do either one. I kind of like the idea of the Void Snapfire against this Beast Rubik. Like we saw it a couple times. Can't remember which teams it was. It was Mud
It was
Golems
Mud
versus.
Golems every time. Like I
Yeah,
think
but it
they've
might have
done
been
it
some
several
weaker
times.
team where they lane like.
Sure, but
know,
they've done it more than once. So you like
Right.
I guess your argument would be all the other teams are looking weak compared to it, right?
Mhm.
But like I think Mud
Yeah.
Golems ran that combo 3, 4, maybe 5 times at least.
Right.
Filthy spammers. Because we also had at one point, I believe they had to get a stand-in, right? Because there was issues with Skit's connections. So they brought in LTW. And in the first game, it looked a bit wonky because he didn't quite get how the combo worked or like the timings.
Right.
And then by game 2, it's like, wow, this is how quickly you can make this work.
Yeah. We do have this pretty spooky looking Tidehunter here.
Yeah, spooky in an absolutely hideous and ugly way. You know, sometimes I look at the skin quality we get these days, and I like to not think about it. It's easier that way.
Come on now.
Dude,
Don't be like that.
I mean, I remember the days when I looked at Lifestealer and all the golden nugget type items he was getting. I was like, you know, this is kind of a meme that he's becoming a giant hand of Midas eventually. It's like, at least this is on its own. We're not just getting everyone with hideous cosmetics.
I mean, I still firmly believe that to this day, the best item in Dota is the Worm Helm of Uldurak for a Dragonite.
I'm trying to think, like, where do I go? What's my... It's kind of weird. I remember when I first
Do you know which one that is?
I'm not sure. Like, refresh.
It's like the ugliest helmet for DK with two horns, and
like,
it kind of looks like a crocodile or whatever.
Because I was like feeling embarrassed. I was like, should I know this? And now that you're saying
it's
it,
like
I
this
don't want
really old item, and it's just, I mean, it's so hideous that it's amazing.
I mean, some people's like the classic one is the Alpine Ursa, right? The one that got removed because it wasn't like that's what I love, right? You think back to those days, like this does not fit the character, we're gonna remove it, and then you just look at the crap that some of the heroes wear nowadays. You're like, does not fit the theme. Got it.
I mean, I think some of the glowing effects are really kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of crazy that they have them, because I feel like it's kind of like game changing to some extent sometimes, right? You're like looking at it here and you're just like, what the fuck? What is that hero?
Yeah, especially like when it's things such as you know, if you create a pain, like the kind of aura effects you get.
Yes.
Pudge, another one, because you can get you can kind of get the green, right, with the Arcana.
Right.
But damn it, like I'm saying, you know, maybe that's just, I mean, that's one you should get used to. It's like green hero versus red hero, but like there are some where I don't think we've got any in this game, because you know it's nice when you've got the clear example you can shame. We don't have that, sadly.
So it is going to be at least just the Tidehunter Snapfire here against Alchemist Oracle. I think Alchemist should be kind of fine here. Potentially you go for some point in Gush and you try to kind of bring the Alchemist down. He does have this Ring of Protection though, so his armor is not too low. And he should just be able to kind of pull creeps. Potentially you can do some stacking and just kind of get the Alchemist to some farm. Oracle can secure range creeps if he has to. So
I guess from the perspective of NiP as well, they've identified, yeah, this is an Alchemist game, so like sticking the Snapfire instead of the Chen bot gives us a better chance of slowing his farm. While admittedly I'd say Snapfire plus Void would be stronger, we are already seeing that Misha can still have an impact by yoinking those boars.
Yeah, it's just a matter of, you know,
See you later, nerds.
Where do you think this hero is going to be the most useful? I feel like you could make a case for putting the Chen bottom, but this might just turn out fine either way. So
yeah, I think if you stick in bot, it becomes a sustain lane, right? Like there's no way you get the Tide and the Chen out. But
yeah,
the gamble that NiP's making is, if we have a Snapfire, we can be more aggressive in the bot lane.
Yeah, and so far, Boom is doing a good job here in the mid lane, even getting a deny. But I do think that this is going to get more difficult the longer the lane goes.
Of course, the difference here is that once you get 6, you'll see Boom being able to make rotations, right? Whereas Morphling isn't a hero I can often recall saying, look at him rotating at the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, not the biggest kind of fan of just making rotations. However, you are kind of likely to have your tower drop, and Supreme here just trading with Boom. Boom might be potentially in trouble
Yeah,
here.
Boom needs to be careful.
Ah,
Fairy
he's got
Fire,
the
keep him
Verifier.
alive.
He's fine. Yeah.
But now he knows the waveform instead of the adaptive strike's been leveled, so kind of play off that. It's all about the info. Meanwhile, bot, still already taking a lot of pressure, but they're not able to actually ultimately punish him.
Why, thank you.
Kind of the most important point in the Snapfire lanes is if you can survive their level 2, right? Like, that's when you should see this huge kind of spike in kill potential for NiP. And if they can't find kills there,
Yeah,
it should be
and you can see that kind of Shad is just, you know, you just put down this acid spray and he's just gonna sit under the creeps. Ty doesn't really want to be there in that acid spray for too long, so he's gonna take a lot of damage. And yeah, you can see Shad is just he's happily just farming in this lane so far, going for the Bracer Wraith Band build.
Of course. Gotta attack quicker. Gotta get more creeps. I guess in this situation, when you look at this, NiP have this more greedy lineup. That's what we've already identified. Does it feel like NiP has to be more active early, though, because of the Alchemist threat looming over them?
I think they have to be active in doing something to prevent Alchemist from just completely free farming. I think in that sense you have to be somewhat active, yes. But at the same time, I think it's kind of fine for them to sit back and farm too. It's just you need to do some stuff to kind of control the Alchemist at least, right? The other heroes you don't really have to care too much about. Depending on how the top lane goes, if the Beastmaster gets off to a good start, you might have to worry about kind of helping out your Faceless Void. But Tidehunter is very good at kind of parking himself in lanes where Beastmaster goes, just because, you know, the Kraken Shell breaks the roar, and you just sit there and just anchor smash creeps, and you make Beastmaster's life kind of miserable.
Charlie? I mean, if he gets another bash. Where's... What? Okay. It's like, no. I don't want to use all my RNG on this worthless level 3 kill. I will wait until it's level 20 and I pump bash him. We've all been there. So far.
Yeah, I don't know. My RNG when I'm Faceless Void is not the best. However, my Spirit Breaker, that's oof.
However,
That's
at
one
that point, you're playing Spirit Breaker.
Eh, you know, nothing wrong with being a big cow. Gonna move.
That's true. You just have to make sure you amply move. That's how you get your
For sure.
teammates to respond. Otherwise, they're
Obviously.
like, who's this guy? I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't say moo in the chat, then how are they gonna know that you're charging?
Yeah, like, so here's the comparative, right? Hello, I am ganking mid. Okay?
Right.
I'm not
Yeah,
gonna respond.
that makes no
But
sense.
if you move over to the mid lane, we're gonna kill him. Bam.
Oh, and this is kind of gonna hurt Boom here, I think.
Yeah, what?
Aramis taking that rune there.
I mean, Boom barely gets away there. It's gonna be the walk of shame for him. And he didn't get his boots out yet.
Oh, is Supreme gonna get joinked here by the Rubik?
Oh, he does! Aramis! Cheeky. Very cheeky.
Kind of clutch there, yeah, with the coming in there, with placing that ward, getting vision. Morph goes down to his 1 HP to kind of regen up, and yeah, he just gets zapped.
The zap his ass. I mean, that was a level 2 Fade Bolt, so kind of unexpected damage for the morph. There was no real way he'd be able to actually morph across quick enough.
Yeah, and the Shad is queuing up this Radiance here, kind of expected. You know, it's just there are not really that many options in a game like this where, you know, you want to become this very big boy, and yeah, Radiance is pretty much the only way.
Yeah, and he's actually doing well CS wise. Yes, Sablight's getting whatever he wants, but you got to admit, Shad is not being slowed down at all here, which should be a bigger concern for NiP.
Yeah, he might be in trouble here though.
Yeah, he messed up a little.
He
They're
might
gonna try
have
and root him, and he can't move away quick enough. The right click will come out from Eric.
Yeah, I think that was kind of a, I don't know, misstep or whatever you want to call it. I think he went up and he kind of hesitated on hitting that creep, and he got punished for it.
It's a little bit of an odd play. Meanwhile, mid lane, we can actually see the Boom starting to just kind of cut between the tier 1, tier 2. He's trying to apply some pressure, but this is the frustration of Morphling, right? Once you get a Morph mask, you can just tank the entire creep wave pretty confidently.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see that even despite this Ember, well, obviously he didn't get the first blood, but the Morphling did die, and he went back to base. They're gonna get another kill on Era here. But yeah, you can see the Morphling is starting to pull ahead in terms of net worth, and yeah, just he can just man fight this Ember, and you can't really ever do anything just because the Morph is just too strong, and you're always gonna be kind of topped off.
Pyjamas does get brought down on the side. Toby is being chased. Oh no, this is a sad death. This is a sad death.
It's gonna happen. Nah, this is not.
Oh no,
it's not
it's
happening.
so close. No, they get it.
Wow.
You
That's a
didn't
big-
believe in the power of penitence, did you?
That's quite a big kill right there. The Beastmaster he's pretty screwed now. I think his game is gonna be pretty rough. He's no port, and he doesn't have boots, so he's gonna have to do the Walk of Shame back to lane. And by that time, Void will have level 6, and he's gonna have treads. And there's definitely some kill potential once again on this Beastmaster, and he's kind of down there in the dumps right now. He's having a pretty rough one.
That's kind of the sad part about Beastmaster versus Chen or Ench, right? It's like this hero right now, I don't feel like Axis is viable, so you're going to be forced to level the boar. And I mean, that death is entirely because he has a level 3 boar in the first place.
Yeah, no, for sure. Just playing up against Chen or Enchantress, as you mentioned, is not amazing since you just get the boar stolen. Supreme here, potentially. No, he's gonna be fine.
He's wise to all.
If he goes too low, it's just awkward getting. Now he has to morph back down and then up.
Then up.
And up and down and up and down and up. Yep.
The quality of this commentary.
I mean, that's how it goes. That's
Oh,
morphling.
he didn't get CS there. Let's judge him. No, he's gone up and down, and now he's CS. It could have been even more up, but don't worry. Boom. He's gonna get his kills up. He's rotating to the no. Abort that.
Yeah, I mean, he only has the 1 point in Searing Chains. It's not that easy to make these kills happen. He's gonna go for this kind of vessel rush.
He won't bot.
He's porting bottom.
Well, kills will happen in the bot lane. Seller gets brought down. Vengeance looking to be had, but Saberlight. That's how you use your ult to die.
Yeah, that was. I don't know. It looked like kind of an ambitious TP there. Potentially, he could have just tried to run at least and forced out more remnants. The Ember, who was kind of low on mana. But yeah, he just wastes the Ravage.
That's one of those moments where you're probably seeing a Saberlight. Oh, that's right. It's a 2.4 second stun, and TPs take 3 seconds.
Should have read the tooltip.
Who needs maths? I mean, you just good mechanical skills is how you endure, right? Look, see, they're going to use good mechanical skills to kill a Dragon Owner right now. Gone. And Orphan gets caught as well, but he's pretty tanky. Aramis is in trouble, though. Chrono onto both the supports. Movement in from Charlie.
Oh.
They'll be able to bring down Aramis and move across the Celery. One bash will secure his death. They got Time Walk in 10 seconds, so...
Yeah, he kind of whiffed the waveform there, and Celery's going to survive. He also actually walked into the Chrono, so kind of an odd play there from Supreme, but they're going to get the Rubik and also the mid tower here. It's going to be a DD now on the Morphling. Gets it.
Yeah, that's a sad, sad Ember Spirit. Feels like it's going to get rougher and rougher for him to try and find his placement on the map. Like, yeah, he has 3 assists right now, but we saw him try and rotate top. It didn't work. It feels like in a lot of ways he's being kind of buffered away by this Chen wherever he goes.
Yeah, and even though this Alchemist he's farming quite well, I think you're still a little bit concerned right now if you're Viking. This Morphling is doing a bit too well, and also the Faceless Void. And your 2 other cores they're kind of struggling. And I mean, Alchemist doesn't really want to, right? Because this is going to be his time to farm right now, right? He wants to get to this Radiance and, 1 or 2 more items. And
but would you expect
that's going to be
this?
a very quick DD.
Yeah. I mean, I know they have a
skill.
DD on the Morph, but even then, right? Even when you see him pick up that DD, you don't expect like the side of NiP to run into the pit and get it that quick.
I mean, that's the thing about, it's this thing about Dota in general. I think it's been like this for quite a while. I think there were talks at some point if, you were supposed to kind of do something where you could nerf the impact of double damage towards Roche, just because, I mean, it's just way too easy killing Roche once you get a double damage. I mean, especially on a hero like Morphling, right? Where all your damage is base damage, so you're just getting that much more value out of a double damage rune.
Yeah, I guess it's also something we don't think about at the 10-minute mark as often, because usually the Morphling's on the outer lane. We don't see as much mid-Morphling at the moment. So you haven't got that concern. He's going to find a DD and instantly walk into the pit.
Yeah, and right now it is a little bit awkward here for Viking. They are going to have this Radiance up very shortly on Shad, but
Ooh. Oh, they do should at least find a kill. That was the primary usage. You see smoke coming out from Viking. Is there going to be more heroes to the top lane? Boom really needs some kills to get towards this Spirit Vessel quicker.
Yeah, and we see Supreme here. He's gonna make this rotation towards bottom where Boom already poured it in, but I don't think there's much Boom can do here. This Morphling is just gonna hit this tower. Once the glyph is down, he's gonna kill some of these creeps, and this tower should just go.
And you can already see like the way that NiP are itemizing, right? The heroes as well. They are ramping up for this very early push timing, which is surprising when you consider they have this morph, they have this void. Like these aren't heroes that you expect to be able to kind of push in this early.
No, exactly, but they are kind of, like you said, the tide he's going for. This Vlad's, Chen, he's gonna have mech pretty soon, with that Hand of God, with the Ravage and the Chrono, and just this Morphling being that farmed already. And also, of course, having this Aegis, it's gonna be hard for Viking to control the map, and that's kind of what you want to do to some extent at least, right? When you have this Alchemist, you want to be able to have some control of the map so that your Alchemist can keep farming. But
yeah, that's why
I mean,
we've seen
Shad
such a drop off in outpicks, right? It's like teams have got very good at this early kind of 20 minutes of the game, I want to say.
Yeah, and it looks like Shad is actually gonna queue up this Blink Dagger here, but I think this might be a little bit awkward for him because even though he gets this Blink Dagger, you know, within the next 1 or 2 minutes, it's only gonna be a level 1 stun or 2 at max, and so it's not gonna be the easiest thing to setting up kills, but.
Saberlight hasn't got the mana to throw out a Ravage, probably for his own good right now. But reinforcements are coming in, so he's going to want to have that opportunity to walk in and do summon arrows, just dying to the creeps in the meantime. And they won't be able to find the kill, but the Chrono goes down on Aramis, and the bashes are coming out. The kisses follow up as well. Steal, false promise going to be there to save the Rubik. He has stolen the Chrono. Might as well throw it out before you get killed off, but he doesn't want to throw it off against the Void. He throws it off against the Tidehunter. Both supports of Viking are now dead. With that, you might have to surrender the top lane area and just retreat here. Supreme's even going into your jungle at this stage.
And you see already this Morphling with an Eel Song.
That was...
Get roared, but...
It's ambitious.
I mean, yeah, to say the least.
Like, nice. Bye.
It's gonna be an E-Blade kind of soon here for the Morph. He's already got the Eagle Song, and he's just some 1,000 gold away from this.
I think he's gonna have that, yeah, before the Spirit Vessel's online for Boom at this rate, which means, you know, you'll be able to see what Boom's doing, and then you'll be somewhat towards your next item, which will probably counter out the Spirit Vessel that the Ember has altogether.
Yeah, most likely, and I mean, he still has the Aegis for another couple minutes. However, they are gonna have some sort of opportunity there. Once the Aegis expires, he's not really gonna have reached his next item just yet. So there might be some opportunity for him.
And then away. Yeah, Boom's like, I don't want any of this. Peace. Usually say this is kind of like space, but who's farming right now? Like, Shad has come to this top lane area, so there are some stacks there as long as it's not intruded upon, but Saberlight's wasting a lot of their time right now. And I'm not even sure this is a feasible kill. As long as he doesn't try to TP when he ravages, he'll always get out.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, with Alchemist and Alchemist lineups in general, you want to be quite far ahead in net worth. I mean, it's something that's been talked about a lot, but the net worth on this hero is obviously very inflated. So, and he's changing and going for the BKB instead of the Blink Dagger. And I think this is probably a good choice. It'll at least let him survive for quite a while. You know, he'll survive through the E-Blade and the Ravage and some of the Snapfire spells. And it'll give him time to, if he still wants to, he could still go for the Blink after, or potentially just go into something, you know, like an Abyssal Blade or whatever, right? Then you kind of get the Blink by proxy, but yeah, at least getting the BKB first, I think, is a good choice.
It's also like the way that NiP fights, right? Like, there's a lot of mobility about these heroes.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, I mean, both the Faceless Void and the Morphling are obviously not the easiest targets, and even the Tide kind of with the Kraken Shell and the fact that he's got these face boots, he's kind of fast, you know, he doesn't just go down.
Yeah, Cookie is also really deceptive. Like, it doesn't, you look at Cookie, right? Like, very short range, who gives a crap? But it's the fact that you can use it to initiate or kind of disengage. And when you think of some of these heroes and how close they need to be to the action, that can hurt them.
Yeah, I mean, and that's where they have these, like, all the melee heroes, right, on Viking. It's gonna be a little bit awkward for them to have to run into all of these engagements.
I'll see what the plan is going to be as time moves forward. Because I wouldn't be surprised if I can try to make a move now that the Aegis is out of the equation.
Yeah, probably. Like, potentially, they're trying to wait for this BKB on the Alchemist, which is gonna come up very soon, and or maybe the Spirit Vessel there on Boom. I think those are kind of your two key item timings right now. Faceless Void he's opted to go for this. He's gonna chrono down here on the Rubik. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's just gonna morph more strength, buddy. He does get him in the end, but still, that's a chrono for the support.
I think it's totally fine right now. You don't really care. As Charlie, like, these chronos, they're not gonna be. You can use them, of course, for team fights together with the Snapfire, but just getting any sort of solo kills and kind of stopping these heroes on the map, it's totally fine. I think potentially Rubik could have been okay if he'd managed to take the time walk there, but a couple of nice bashes and the timely time dilation.
Of course, this does mean that the Viking can now aggress the top lane. That BKB now available in the out. You know, Chrono was his biggest threat. He can just move in like this. There's going to be a Ravage coming out. He's going to stun himself. Nope, BKB just in time. Sableye was hiding in the trees. He couldn't throw out the concoction. The Kisses look like they're more or less wasted here. They will at least deter Viking away. As I look to regroup, they have forced a lot of the attention of the ninjas into the top lane here, though. We'll see if this turn around. Oh, the stuns coming out right now. Time dilation to slow him down as well. Shan needs to retreat. They'll be able to get Sableye. It wasn't a weird Ravage that time. It's just a weird use of your life as he's going to get brought down. Misha's going to be punished as well. So it's a double kill for Shaq.
Yeah, that was actually that was a very funny sequence of events there. The Centaur was, I don't even think it was Misha's. I think it was a random Centaur that walked into these heroes due to the Radiance aggro. And I think that, if it wasn't for that, I think NiP would have just been fine kind of not taking that engagement. You know, sure, you use this Ravage, but there was a BKB wasted on Alchemist, and that's the 10-second BKB. I think you would have been totally fine just disengaging, but the kind of Centaur random stomp baits you into this poor engagement. And now Supreme potentially here.
I mean, that's the Spirit Vessel.
Maybe be in trouble.
He's only got an E-Blade to work with, so he needs to get out of there quick, and the Cookie will help him do it. They're moving in, though. They see Era instead. E-Blade to protect him. Prime Roar gets thrown out. The pushback on Boom means he can't get involved. Sablelight's arrived, but he is not a man with a Ravage, so instead he needs to run away. Concoction thrown out. Root follow up as well. Hand of God to try and keep him healthy, but the Snapfire is going to be brought down. Saberlight not really a valid target. They're just zoning them away so they can take this tier 1.
Yeah, now you can see at least the Shadows kind of starting to pull ahead. He's some 6k ahead of the Morphling. However, he's just kind of...
Booby. Trying to go in. E-Blade. Bringing him low. Needs to be a little bit careful here. Supreme will back up, though. Trying to get rid of the vision first. Not able to do so. Root out into tube. Chen's going to be brought down on the side. They're trying to chase in and do some damage, but Shad's able to retreat. Waveform in. Will kill off Toby, though, because they had to pull the Alchemist back. Without the ultimate, he's just not anywhere near tanky enough to take this fight directly. But now the Chrono comes out. Straight away on a Boom. They bait him into the maximum. The Cookie to stun him instantly afterwards because he can't move through the Chrono anymore. But he's still able to get away. And that's going to be a Chrono wasted for nothing.
Yeah, and it's not the end of the world. I think for NiP, you might be slightly concerned now this Alchemist, getting some influx of net worth through these towers and kills. However, I think you're still kind of on the right track. Morphling he's queued up this Manta. Faceless Void, he is gonna try to complete his MKB first and then probably go back for the BKB so that he has enough damage. But as NiP, as long as the Alchemist isn't just kind of going totally out of control or doubling, your course in net worth, you should be okay here.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like we already said, NiP very greedy with this lineup. I wrote there. They still get him, but this is not
I don't know
doing things for Saberlight's morale right now.
The Ravage might not have been necessary. I mean, it was kind of nice, the visual effects. It's like the movie you're watching and the protagonist is running away from the explosions. Yeah, and you're just like barely making it, but you keep outrunning everything, and
got it. So
then you still die anyways. So.
This is a moment where I wish we had like replays stored so we kind of get that feeling. So next time he ravages, I just want you to be like, oh, 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 oh. All right, we're just gonna try and capture the mood here. Saberlight's clearly going for that kind of, you know, that instead of beating them directly, he's just trying to defeat their mind. Which makes sense considering he's got a kind of Cthulhu look going on.
Yeah, no, it's obviously it has nothing to do with, you know, making any misplays. It's just
Oh,
it's
these
all
are
about mind
professional
games.
players, Pyjamas. I mean, you know, you never made a mistake, right? You're a pro player. You can speak to that.
Negative. I can confirm.
Wait, which? You did or you didn't?
No, that I never.
Exactly, there we go. So you don't regret any team you were on. Are you sure? You might regret his existence here. And he just gave Hand of God. That's... And he's gonna live? Primal Roar?
Charlie, though.
Toby? I don't know if that's the play, though. Like, you're fine. Just get out. Now you're gonna be punished for this. They're gonna chase in. Boom. Chased on the side, but they're going to turn around right now on top of the Snapfire and bring it down. Supreme turns around to try and deal with Shad, but the Spirit Vessel's out on top of him with the lift as well. He didn't start to morph, brought low, but not enough to kill him off. Able to get away from Celery quick enough. And it looks like the rest of NiP should be able to retreat. An ambitious move from Toby, but casualties have been minimized. Shad wants more,
Chrono's
though.
going to be ready now. Shad
Yeah,
is
they don't
going
want to use it, though. Like, if he's got Chrono, let's see him use it right now. If he can even get it off, he's dead. Saberlight, no Ravage for 30. So... no epic music coming in. He'll just back away.
And that should be a completed AC now for the Alchemist. Roche is up once again. There is a double damage right outside the pit. And now, let's see. Finds this double damage.
It's not going to be more for once.
So, alright, it's going to be boom.
Totally a Roshing here, right? Like, that's... You look at these two mids, and you could definitely see both... No, you could.
I mean, the thing is, both teams can obviously take Roche kind of fast. Beastmaster has the Inner Beast and the book, and with the AC and the Acid Spray from Alchemist, it would be pretty quick. And yeah, of course, there's a Morphling and a Tidehunter with Gush and Medallion on the other side, and it looks like NiP are just gonna go straight into the pit here. They see pretty much all of Vikings' heroes in the bottom lane, and I think this could be kind of costly for Viking here. You're gonna get a tier 1 tower, but at the cost of this Roche, it's just too late.
The speed of this, you'd be kind of remiss in mistaking this green for a DD effect right now. Like, Supreme's damage is kind of ridiculous. And now with that MKB being complete as well on the Faceless Void, it's Gatling gun mode for this lad.
Yeah, he's got the MKB now, also with an Imp Claw. He's got the cheese to kind of protect himself to some extent. And the Morphling is now going to have the Mental Style completed. Shad is queuing up Iskadi here, which is kind of strange. You'd think he'd go for something like an Abyssal, but he wants to kind of stick on top of these targets, and he thinks Skadi is the best choice to do that.
You can kind of respect
might
it, right?
Potentially be...
Oh, no, he's out. I was going to say, you kind of respect it from the angle, like, it's going to help you survive the Chronos, but more importantly, like, you just need to burst through the Morph. I don't think they're lacking stuns on the side of Viking.
Ooh, they're going to run into this Faceless Void.
It's so awkward.
Potentially. Again. I mean, the thing is, it's nice to be able to have this kind of secondary port cancellation, right? Because Alchemist's damage is not that overwhelming to, burst people that quickly. Of course, depends on the target, but, course, etc. It's not that easy, so having something else so they can't port out could potentially be good, but yeah, it's gonna be the Skadi. And now he's actually opted to change things up.
God damn it, Shad, make up your mind. He's like, oh yeah, Pajkatt has a very, very good point. I want to be a TI level player too. I'm gonna just queue up an Abyss.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
What, him queuing the Abyssal or you being a multi-TI level player?
No, him queuing up the Abyssal here.
I mean, I'd say either one's fair. Right, This Smoke was ambitious to try and catch someone off guard, but these are the Pyjamas. They don't want to risk it. They kind of understand that right now there's this pressure, right? Like Viking, yeah, you've got this Alchemist. Yeah, he's got a lot of net worth, but he's reaching peak points. So you know that if this game goes on too long, eventually into the Pyjamas are staring at a situation where they have 2 barrel carries that they can shoot in the direction of Viking.
Yeah, definitely. And both of these heroes, they both scale better than Alchemist, who is the sole carry of this team. And Ember and Beastmaster, they're not really gonna scale all that well against these heroes. And you can also tell from like just the net worth, right? They're pretty much down there. They haven't even reached 10k either of them in terms of net worth, and it's the 25-minute mark. So they're both quite poor and not really able to scale that well. So as NiP, you don't really have to do that much. You just, yeah, I mean, just sitting here and kind of containing Viking is, you feel totally fine with this. Sure, Alchemist is farming top, but it's not gonna matter all that much when you have so many cores that are able to scale. And
right now, I think it would be fair to say that Viking, they're not looking as much like Vikings as they are Native Americans, and NiP, they're kind of looking like colonial powers. The question is whether we're going to get a little bighorn.
yeah, I
this
mean,
is just going to play out historically.
the one thing they have like is the big Indian
big
chief,
chieftain,
if,
yeah.
the chieftain, if you wanna go that route in the Alchemist here. He's gonna reach his abyssal very shortly here, but that's the thing is, after that he's pretty much capped. He could get rid of the blink, and then he's fully slotted. So
And then we're talking, Ags territory. It's like, some of these Ags
Right.
aren't bad, but they're not game-winning Ags, right? Like, Ember's Ags is nice, but how does it win you the game? Especially if you're just going to die. Being brought low. Oh, no, Saberlight!
And you know what else?
Dun, 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 dun. Sorry, I forgot the epic music.
Yeah, but do you see who has the Ravage now?
Not just that, the kisses were used as well. And okay, let's see how Ravage is meant to be used. Aramis, if you would. I mean, he's got a blink.
I mean, I feel like I at this point I have to trust Aramis more than I trust Saberlight with these Ravages. Just this man has not had the not had the best game in terms of Ravage using.
Now, the impressive part is every time I'm trying to remember our agreement about the epic music, he does a more
An even more impressive.
Yeah,
Yes.
impressive Ravage than the last one. So it just he keeps you on your toes. I'll give him that.
He definitely does.
You know what I love about this guy? Like, even if, say they picked him a tide again, and they, like, this happened again. Guarantee at the end of the series, he's on Twitter saying ease. I think there's going to be a smoke coming out from Viking. They're like, well, we've got a Ravage. Let's give an educational 101 on how to use this thing.
Well, there's gonna be, wow, do you actually check that as the Ember Spirit? I feel like you definitely give that illusion rune to Alchemist. That was kind of your ability to push out multiple lanes at the same time while still being smoked. So I feel like that kind of silly, but
he doesn't have a... I guess there's the Dispel
Era here
aspect,
might be in
right?
trouble.
I mean, it's just a dragon. Dragons aren't... Kind of be happy.
They're barely even gonna bother. You see Shad, he's kind of reluctant to killing the Snapfire there. He's just like, okay, whatever, I'll do it. And it's also interesting, he has this repair kit here. Of course, it does give 25 HP regen, so it's gonna be kind of difficult to bring down once he's popping this rage.
Yeah, we've been seeing more and more of this, right? These kind of more unusual items because teams have started to identify how useful they are in different roles. Like a perfect example is Paladin Sword on supports right now is a biggie because of the healing aspect with heroes like Chen, Phoenix.
Yeah, and one thing now is that the Faceless Void, he still doesn't have his BKB. He's, in fact, around 1,000 gold away. And so I think, for now, NiP, also now with the Morphling not having the Aegis anymore, I think they're just going to concede this top tower. I don't think it's very likely that Viking will keep going here, but potentially. I think Viking, they really want to force fights. Just, you can't afford to take any poor fights, because one lost engagement here could potentially just mean that NiP are just gonna get back so much gold and so much map control that you might not be able to get back into it.
Yeah, because NiP are doing a good job of splitting the map right now, right? Like, look at the net worth. It's almost constantly, every time I've looked up there, it's been at that 1,000 mark, one side or the other. Like, they're ensuring that even with the Alchemist, the variable in terms of overall net worth of team isn't changing.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? As this Alchemist, you want to be at least, 5, 10, 15k ahead at this point to feel kind of comfortable. But yeah, NiP are doing a good job on getting farm on all of their cores.
I've run out of time to use this Ravage on the side of Vikings, so you might see them back up a little bit at that point as they don't have that extra stun. With Charlie getting close to the BKB, I think he's actually now got it flying out.
Oh yeah, Aramis, he wants to use this Ravage here. Probably if he finds any sort of opportunity. Faceless Void is going to pick up his BKB right now.
All right, here's the big brainer. You Ravage, and then you TP and go, look, I can actually do that. See?
Because
Arcane
it's
Supremacy.
yeah, that's true. That's true. He could definitely.
Looks like you won't get a chance there.
You just ravage the creeps here.
Yeah, but then when he ravages on
That's so
Saberlight,
sad.
you can't steal it again, right?
That is so sad.
Yep.
He got the ravage and never got to use it.
You ever had games like that where you're like, yes, I got the black hole. And then your team's like, we're going to farm for 5 minutes. You're like, no.
I mean, I would probably just pull up to some place, like wherever it is, and just use it, you know, just for good measure. Just to show that I had
Your
it.
secret pleasure, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I just want to hear the noise. Plus, see all the pretty colors, because, you know, custom effect.
Yeah. Definitely. So Charlie now, he's going to queue up this Lincolns, just kind of further protection from both the Beastmaster and the Alchemist. And yeah, I mean, you see the blink there. It didn't last very long in Shad's inventory. Now it's gone, and he's the fully geared Alchemist. He can swap out potentially the Radiance or whatever it is for. I mean, he's queued up the Satanic. I'm not sure. I really like that choice. I think he can only fight during pretty much his BKB and Rage. So it's going to be a little bit awkward.
Oh, Saberlight.
I think he might just need more damage.
Now this might be the moment. This is what we've been building up.
Be the moment.
He's been baiting all along. I'm pretty sure that's what he's telling himself right now. This is my moment.
Yeah, no, I think you could potentially try to go in here. I feel like he should try to force an engagement, but it's just he can't find a great angle here, right? And already Roche is actually gonna be up once more. It's gonna be the refresher shard this time around.
You remember that moment, by the way, when you like, oh yeah, you see that blink dagger didn't last long. Part of me thought you meant Saberlight had sold his blink for just more utility items.
Oh, yeah. I mean that would have also been okay, I think. At this point, I think this Roche potentially might go the way of.
This is fast.
Viking. It's gonna be contested at least.
Saberlight's moving in.
Saberlight is
he finds. He knows he needs to eliminate him first before he gets a good steal, but there's no way he can interrupt now. That blink just gave it away. Viking will pick up the Aegis, the cheese, and the refresher, and now they're moving on Saberlight. Shad jumps forward with the Abyssal, not attacking that fast though, because the Gush did slow him down. The kids come out with the Chrono. On top of them, Charlie just trying to run them through. He kills off the Ember, the buyback comes out for the Oracle, and they will get the Prime Roar out before dying on the Beastmaster. Now Shad has a lot of work on his hands, and I'm not thinking he can do it. Down once already. In mighty big trouble. He's got the BKB at least, but what's your play? It's a TP away. Instantly interrupted by Charlie's bashes, though. And angrily, he will punch back, but it will not achieve much as his Faceless Void just too much work. They'll find the kill on Aramis as well. And it is going to be Viking's biggest fears. NiP moved towards that mid lane very quickly.
Yeah, and I think it was kind of awkward there by Shad. He chose to just kind of put his treads and take the Aegis on the Alchemist, but I mean, this Alchemist, like I said, if he does not have his ultimate running and his BKB, he's pretty much useless, especially also if he does not have his treads in his inventory. He's just going to be this slow kind of piece of shit that just walks around, and sure, you burn people with Radiance, but you're not actually going to deal any damage, and so the Ember goes down and he doesn't have buyback, and at that point, there's just nothing to do. So I think giving that Aegis at least to the Ember would have been a much better choice. I'm not sure if anyone actually managed to grab that refresher shard. Yeah, it's gonna be on Toby, but at this point you're gonna lose two sides, and there's a cheese still on Faceless Void, I think.
Oh no. And Supreme is kind of untouchable here. The Prime Roll gets reflected. They move in straight away on top of Toby. You know he's going down. He used the refresher, but no chance to scream once more as he lets out his final death scream. Does get brought down. And into the Pyjamas, they say, hit the GG twice, please. Por favor, thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, all it really took was Saberlight hitting that one Ravage on a couple heroes.
And it was all, it was an elaborate bait. Everything about it. The Ravages before it, the blink in towards the Rubik, it was all built into this moment. Saberlight, he had the epic music tunes playing in his head. He was clearly starting at, one of those Sumberson ones that doesn't have much kind of ramp up. And by the end, he was like Darude Sandstorm. Yeah,
I mean, that final Ravage kind of at least made up for some of the previous ones. But,
some of them, not all of them. We're only giving them part.
I would say they make up for some of them, right?
It's a bit hard to make up for them in one go. Shad, BKB, Abyssal gets reflected though. And Supreme just ignores him. He moves in on Turby. Prime Raw comes out. Beastmaster needs to be careful himself though. The Ravage. Saberlight, I think that one makes up for the rest because that's going to be the game-ending Ravage there. The steal from Aramis is cute, but will achieve nothing as the Chrono is thrown out. They'll run them through, forcing out the GGs. Ninjas in Pyjamas take game 1.
Yeah, and it's kind of a little bit anticlimactic there with the just kind of you never really got to see this big fight from Viking. It was just farming on the Alchemist, and then in the end they never managed to actually take a proper engagement. I think it was a little bit awkward to kind of all in on this one Alchemist pick with all these melee cores. I think, I mean, it's a little bit awkward because when you have this Alchemist, I think one thing with this hero is something that that I would always think about back when I was playing with this hero is that this hero is it's really difficult to pick as a first pick. I think unless Alchemist is in a position where he can just kind of freely lane against almost any hero. The thing is, when you pick this hero, you're gonna sell one lane because the Alchemist lane is never really gonna win, right? You're never gonna be going out of an Alchemist lane with like an actual win, right? You can farm and by proxy you are kind of winning. However, this hero is not a hero that makes plays. And so when you're picking this hero and you have two other lanes that are losing quite heavily, the game just becomes very difficult because then all of a sudden it's Alchemist's job to play the game and make the game happen, but also scale out of control and be this one core. And I think it's too tall an ask for anyone. I mean, it's not really possible unless the opposing side makes a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, it's also a case like when you think back to when Alk was quite popular still, right? It was in this meta where you ran it in the mid and you had these more farming focused mid heroes. And while you admit that Supreme was playing the Morph in this game, you say that was a farmer. There is this shift towards having 4 active heroes in those first 20 minutes, and usually the way it worked is back then you had your 2 kind of farmy cores in the POS 1, POS 2. And because you're the mid out, you get online quicker, right? Because you max out your passive, you get your items 1 or 2 minutes quicker, and you can maybe run over the game. Whereas when you're playing those outer lanes, we've mentioned about heroes like Monkey King as well. These heroes that really need that extra accelerant don't have it. And that's kind of what we saw here. I mean, Viking, I don't want to say it looked easy for NiP, but part of me does after all those ravages.
No, I agree. I think it did look kind of easy for NiP. I think they really didn't have to do much this game. They kind of just walked around. They kind of kept the game just not going out of control. And yeah, in the end, I do think it was kind of just. I mean, I think it was Vikings kind of. I don't know if they were scared or exactly what it was, but I feel like they could have taken a lot of these engagements. We saw there like the haste on Alchemist. I feel like you need to go in there, right?
Mm.
I mean, the idea is that he's scared that if he dies, the game is over. But yeah, that kind of is the case. But at the same time, you do need to go in and still be that kind of big shield, potentially play with the buyback once you're 6 slotted. Just kind of, provide this Aegis for your Ember Spirit and then start trying to boost your teammates, through maybe Ags or whatever it is. But yeah, I think they kind of just let NiP win this game. That's the way I'm looking at it.
Well, we're going to have to hope they don't let them win this series because, of course, it wouldn't mean elimination, but it would mean being down the lower bracket already. And it would mean that we'd already have 2 series best of 3. I mean, honestly, we move on to best of 3s so we can have more games with the same teams, not so we can have best of 2s all over again. So we'll see if Viking can actually give us some action or if the ninjas are going to become an unstoppable force and show us the true jiu-jitsu